This is assignment 1 of machinery elements. Then our topic is current status of machine elements used in food and biomaterial processing, which is the topic 1. Then our group member is Hong Kai Chi, Tiu Xing Yi, Oh Jia Chen, and Ho Chia Sing. So next. Okay, so we know that the simple and complex machine in the food industry is made out of each machine elements. So conveyor belt is one of them. And before I go into detail about what is a conveyor belt, let me talk about what is conveyor system first. So conveyor systems are designed to move materials and items from one place to another place. So it can help to reduce and help the humans to be tired and overstrained on working on the material. So in food processing plant, conveyors are one of the most important components as they can significantly impact the quality of food they transport. So with the right food conveyor material, food processing can be facilitated almost entirely without human intervention to minimize the sanitation risks. Next. So the conveyor belt is one of the components of the conveyor system. So most commonly, the conveyor type used in the food industry is conveyor belts. So these three are the most popular choices conveyor belts that used in the food and biomaterial processing line. There is plastic modular belt, solid flat belt, and wire mesh belt. Next. So before that, let me review what is open space percentage first. This OPS is the hinges on the conveyor belt. So it can be modified to meet the standards for conveyor package, meat, raw food, bakery ingredients, and so on. Different conveyor belts have different OPS. So let me talk about one of the conveyor belt type for the food processing line. Okay, so it's plastic modular belt. It is constructed of plastic modules, and it is corrosive and abrasion resistant and easy to clean with low maintenance, so can heighten food safety. So in this type of belt, it have a high OSP and small OSP. So the smaller OSP can be used for small products and drainage applications. For example, like the oily food, they can drain the oil. So for the higher OSP, that's mostly used for heat transfer, cooling, and spiral freezers. For example, after the baking of bread then this high OSP is used for cooling purpose. And in industry, it's commonly used for food and vegetables, packaged meat, and poultry and bakery lines, like what I said just now. So next is the solid flat belt. It is constructed of homogenized thermoplastics, and the advantages is it have no tensions, so enable easy lifting to exit that side of the belt and all internal components during the sanitation process. So basically, this type of belt is with smaller OSP, and it will reduce the bacterial hemorrhage areas. So it's best integrated in raw and cooked meat applications and food, as well as the vegetable processing line. So after that is wire mesh belt. This type of belt is made from series 300 stainless steels. The advantage is higher with higher heat resistance and the belt stability. This type of belt is with higher OSP, which is excellent for bread productions. And it's normally is used for cooked products. That's all for me. Then we continue to the next machine elements.
Okay. Hi. So the next element that we are going to talk about is gear. So first of all, I will introduce what is gear. A gear is a rotating circular machine part having cut teeth which mesh with another tooth part to transmit torque. Gears are used for transmitting power from one part of a machine to another. So gear and gearbox are widely used in applications such as speed reducer, open gearing, coupling, and shaft. So because the application of gear is pretty wide, so it's very important. It is a very important machine element in food and biomaterial process industry. Okay, so this is the general gear design requirement for the two industry that I just mentioned. So first of all, the type of material used for fabrications, normally there are two types. One is synthetic plastic. The second one is standard steel 304, or can also name as SUS 304. For the standard steel 304, the tensile strength usually will be more than 520 Newton per millimeter squared, and the elongation percentage will be more than 40. Drawability will be more than 60%. Hardness HB will less than 187. And usually it will, during fabrication, there's heat treatment on them. For some gear, they even craft with stainless steel 316 to endure tough caustic washdown during the process, and also in order to prevent microbial contamination and bacterial growth. The gears are always fabricated to have a smooth surface for ease of cleaning process, and also they will be designed for like corrosion resistant properties and heat resistant properties. So this is a type of the gears that we can find in food and biomaterial process industry. First of all, it is helical gear, as you can see from the picture on the top left. Helical gears are one type of cylindrical gears with slanted tooth trace. So you can see that the tooth trace is slanted. It's not like spur gear. For spur gear is straight. And helical gears is less noise, especially at medium to high speed compared to spur gear. So the second gear is spur gear. It is specifically designed to transmit large amounts of power by placing them on parallel shafts which rotate in opposite direction. It is ideally to be used in food packaging machine. It can also increase or decrease the speed, and it can be used without lubricant if it is made of MC nylon. The third type of gear is bevel gear. Bevel gear are gears where the axes of two shafts intersect and two bearing face of the gears themselves are conically shaped. They are often used to transmit power at 90 degree right angle, as you can see from the pictures. it is 90 degrees. And the fourth gear that I'm going to talk about is worm gear. Worm gears are constructed of a worm and a gear, which can also name as worm wheel, with non-parallel, non-intersecting shaft oriented 90 degrees to each other. The worm is typically the driving component, with the worm straight advancing the teeth of gear. It is used in crushing machine when made from softer material as it can absorb short loads. So the constructions of the worm gear can see from the pictures here. Like the worm wheel, and this is the worm wheel, and this is the worm. So next, I'm going to talk about right angle gearbox. Right angle gearbox. So gearbox are essentially multiple open gear sets contained in a housing. The housing supports bearing and shaft, holds in lubricants, and protects the component from surrounding conditions. Gearbox are also commonly called gear reducer or enclosed speed reducer. So a right angle gears such as bevel, worm, and high-foot gears are normally used to create drivetrain that can transmit torque 90 degrees to turn a corner while also being good for space saving. And for the pictures that show in this slide, you can see that for the first pictures on the right hand side on top, that one is bevel gearbox, and the second pictures is the worm gearbox, and the last one is the high foot gearbox. High foot gear is actually a style of spiral bevel gear. So you can see like the structure of the high foot gear is kind of similar to the bevel gear. So the design of the right angle gearbox is a corrosion-resistant hard-coat anodized aluminum housing will be used to protect the gear. And the gearbox should always be packed with a food-grade lubricants that meet the requirement of FDA regulations. So that's all from me. So now we will proceed to the next machine elements. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Kai-Chi and I'm going to present about couplings, which is one of the machine elements in most machineries. Coupling is a mechanical element part that connects two shafts together to accurately transmit the power from the drive side to the driven side while absorbing the mounting error, which is the misalignment of the two shafts. Next. As you can see from this picture, it shows that the motor cannot be directly connected to the propeller as the two shafts has different diameters. So if we use a coupling, then we can connect the two shafts together, even though the shaft diameters are different. The role of a coupling. Coupling is it has four roles, which is the first one is the power is transmitted from the driving side, which is the turning side, to the driven side, which is the side that we need to turn it. And then for the second role is that it absorbs mounting errors between the axis of the driving side, which is the turning side, and the driven side turning. Okay, so you can see from the pictures that it is difficult to align the two shafts with high precision. So it is very important to have a coupling to absorb the misalignment between the two shafts and still can transmit the power. Next. Okay, the third role is to absorb vibration from the driving side and protects surrounding products. So from the picture beside, you can see that there's vibration, and then by using the coupling, we can absorb the vibration and shock. And then for the fourth role is that it will not transfer heat from the motor on the drive side to the driven side. Okay, next. Okay, types of different types of coupling in food industries. Firstly, we have the jaw couplings, which you can see the picture beside it. It is mostly used for mixers, packaging machines in the food industry. The maximum shaft diameters are usually around 145 millimeter with maximum torques up to 15,000 Newton meter and a maximum speed of 19,000 RPM. And it has dampening, blind assembly, safe against breakdown. There's no need for maintenance. And usually the materials are aluminum, cast iron, sinter steel, and steel. For the second type of coupling is the disc type couplings. It is also used mostly for the mixers, packaging machines in the food industry. It is also maintenance free, it is anti-vibration, zero backlash, flame proof, high endurance to fatigue, and the materials are usually high grade stainless steel. Next. For the third type is the bellow couplings. It is used for positioning applications such as conveyor technology, filling lines, machines in the food industry. For this type of couplings, the rotational speed is maximum of 15,000 RPM. And then it also can compensate for the shaft misalignments, low moment of inertia, suitable for highly dynamic applications, torsionally stiff, and the normal torque range from TKN is equals to 0.1 Newton meter to 5,000 Newton meter with different sizes. The temperature range is usually from negative 30 degrees Celsius to 120 degrees Celsius. That's all for me. Thank you.
Next, I will talk about bearing, another machine element that will be used in food processing machine. So bearing is a machine element that constrains relative motion to only the desired motion and reduce friction between moving parts. Next. Well, there are a few types of bearings that are common be used in food processing machine. Firstly is single roll ball bearing. The rigid bearing with a row of ball is a bearing representing a very good performance and also presenting a very good price ratio. It is relatively universal and it has a good capacity to support the radial loads and also the axial loads in two directions. Represent a swirling and exists in an instrumental version, making it possible in particular to determine the rotational speed of the shaft. Next. Another type of bearing that is used is double roll ball bearing. These bearings require a good coaxiality between the shaft and the housing. It allows strong radial and axial loads in the two directions. A preferential way is sometimes noticed in case of filling notches. This bearing can be installed alone or together with another bearing. And normally this type of bearing is used in pumps or reducer. Next. Another type of bearing that is commonly used in food processing machine is mounted bearing, and it consists of bearing housed within bolt or on threaded mounting components and include pillow blocks, flange units. You can see from the right picture that a bearing is like mounted in the house. It provides means of supporting rotating shaft and minimizing friction between shaft and stationary machine members. So they are used as take-up devices on the ends of conveyors and as flange units along intermediate points. Usually it is used in packaging machine. Next. So the application of bearings are usually in conveyors, mixers, sorters, and packaging. So from the two pictures from left side, you can see in noodle machine and also automated pasta wrapping line machine, the element is in blue color that shows the bearing. Okay, that's all from us, and thank you.